And hello everyone. I have a new product to talk about today, a very new product, so new in fact that I'm not even sure if it's released yet to the general public, but if not, it will be very soon, and we will try to let you know when that happens. This is called, or at least I'm going to call it the GYRFalcon. I haven't not heard a human being pronouncing its name yet, so that's where it's going to be from here anyway. GYRFalcon. It's an 8-bay battery charger. And as you can see, it's rather large. I'm finding it hard to even get in the camera frame. But it's about 10 inches wide and about 5 inches tall. And it's called the All-88. This is the actual version of this charger, All-88. And 8 bays is what it can charge all at once with a top current of 1A. It will not go more than 1A, or 1,000 amps, 1,000 milliamps. So that's its top current charging amperage, and every bay has its own little display window, just like that. And just like many chargers today, it'll charge just about any type of rechargeable battery, NiMH, NiCD, AA's, AAA's, C's, D's, as long as they're rechargeable, and of course about 15 different sizes of lithium-ion batteries. So there are its charging currents right there, as you can see, 100, 250, 500, and 1,000. So it's got a pretty good range there. So, and the plug is on the side. There's no USB on this. It has rather a large adapter plug. And whoops, where's the camera? There we go. Has rather a large adapter plug here with the standard AC plug right there, and the other part goes into the charger. So let's plug this in and have the display come to life, as it were. Camera, please stay where you should be. Okay. All right. And presto, there we go. All right, all the displays light up immediately, and they give you a fair amount of information. Now the displays are small, and because there's so many of them, the LED to light them up isn't quite uniform, so the ones towards the edge are brighter, and in the middle it's a little dimmer, but it's a little easier to see your actual vision. You can see it easier than the camera can, I think, in some instances. But anyway, so let me focus in here on what each display does. First of all, you can see that it has a timer at the top to tell you how long that battery has been charging for. And here's your selection between battery types, NiMH and lithium-ion. And it'll show your voltage. And right here is your amperage, is your charging amperage. There's your 1, your 0.25, 0.5, and 1 amp. So that's where it'll tell you that. And of course, right below it is the voltage, is the battery voltage to select. 1.5, 3.6, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.35. And the default is 1 amp and 4.2. That's the default. Now right now this is pointing at NiMH, and it's doing so at every display. So they're all doing the same thing. They're all pointing at NiMH. And there are 2 ways to actually charge. You can do each bay singularly, individually, or you can press a couple of series of buttons and charge them all the same together. Which can also be very handy, obviously, if you've got one particular battery type. Now, if you mix them and put NiMH and lithium-ion in there, and then do the sequence of the copying, it'll do the same for everything. So if you mix them, then it'll select one and do it for everything. So if you're selecting one for lithium-ion, it'll copy that for the NiMH and do it the same way, but then you can change that one afterwards, if that makes sense. But it's probably easier just to put all of one in there, either a lithium-ion or an NiMH, and just do the same thing. Obviously, that is a lot simpler. All right, let me place a couple of batteries in here. Now we have different sizes. Here we have a 26650. Here we have an 18350, and here we have an NiMH. So obviously it'll do all these different sizes. And here's a AAA in the NiMH. So I guess for the purposes of clarity, I'm not going to bother putting the NiMHs in there at the moment, but everything else is fair game. I have a very cheap 18650 here. I like to use this one for testing because it runs down fast and it always needs to be charged. Did a video on these. They're awful. Anyway, that's a different story. So there's NiM8, there's 18650, and as soon as you put it in, it'll automatically start to show the voltage for that battery. Even though I haven't started charging it yet, it'll give a voltage for the battery I've just put in. So that says 3.82 right there, even though NiMH is still highlighted up here. So it is showing the voltage of the battery, but you know, it hasn't started charging. But when it does so, NiMH will change to lithium-ion, because it's showing 1.5 here, which is why it's showing NiMH up there. So right now they're all flashing 1.5, which is why it says NiMH above. Okay, now of course, yeah, it does say 1.5, and of course some of you may be arguing at the computer right now, wherever NiMH is 1.2, but I can only assume that it knows the difference, or will be charging it at the correct level, because you don't necessarily charge a 1.5 volt battery, because NiMHs are 1.2. And to be honest with you, that just kind of occurred to me, so I'm assuming that it's going to know the difference. It has to, for one reason or another. I'm not sure why they don't have 1.2 there. I don't know why they don't have it, but anyway. So if I wanted to start charging a battery just on its own and do a single charge, it's very simple. I would just select that bay, select that slot, and then a couple of things will start happening. First of all, it'll turn red, and red means it's going to start working. Blue means it hasn't done anything yet. But right now I've just selected this bay, and nothing much has changed. But if I press it again and hold it, this button over here that says CV will turn red. So then I press that, and then that selects back and forth between the CA and the VV there. That selects back and forth to 2, but between the two of them, so then I can select that one when I get to the one I want. So down here at voltage, I would then press the button up here, and it starts flashing and going through the various voltages. So when I get to the one I want at 4.2, I press and hold it. So pressing and holding it has now actually started that charge, and the voltage is also bumped up to 4.1, and lithium-ion is now highlighted over here. So down here it says 4.2, and up here it says 1.0. So that's basically the default. If I wanted to change those, or if I wanted to change the current, I would have to have pressed the other button back over there and selected it, and then gone back and pressed this button again, the slot button, to select the different charging current that I wanted. Does that make sense? And as you can see here, there's the battery thing flashing. You can see that, and so time will start to time will start to add up right there, and voltage is showing right there. So that's how you do one slot. This one over here hasn't started anything yet. It's still flashing. So it sounds a bit complicated, but obviously once you've done it a couple of times, it becomes a little more user-friendly. So right now I put this one in here. Let's take it an 18350, and well, that seems to be about all I've got up here right now. Here's another type of 18350. So these are all flashing right now, but if I hold down one of these slots, the CV will turn red. Then if I hold down one of the other ones, basically they should all begin charging together. Now in this particular instance they haven't, because NiMH is highlighted. So I would have to go through each of these and change them. But I can do that. It's no problem to do that. All I would do is press down the button, and then it flashes, and then I press the CV over here to obviously select what I want to do, and then in this case I would select over here the voltage and then hold it down, and then having done so will begin the charging process on that particular bay. So red turns to blue and it's charging. So I can do the same with each of these. I can go back and do it individually. So long story short, I don't see a way of actually selecting more than one battery to start copying another after one other battery is already going through the charging phase. So let's do this. Let's take all these out. Take all of them out, and this will stop flashing in a second here. And then we'll start again, and we'll do them all together. Whoops! That was a neat trick. Not sure if I could do that twice, although I probably could if I was as clumsy as I was the first time. Okay. And I don't believe these all have to go side by side, although there's no problem in them doing that. But, alright, so now if I wanted to charge all these together, it's very easy at the same current and the same voltage. If I wanted to do everything the same, I would hold down, let me just make sure I have this correctly, I would hold down the FN button and then press the CV button, and that would automatically select everything to 1 amp and 4.2 volts. That's FN and CV. So I think you can see all this. I'm holding down FN and I'm holding down CV. And presto, everything has gone to a uniform current. This one's 411, this one's 375, this one's 381, this one's 377, and the others are idle, but all these are doing the exact same thing. So that's the easy way to do more than one battery at once, as long as they are the same type of battery, and as long as you don't mind them all doing 1 volt at the same time. Now I suppose I could go back and even change one of these if I wanted to. I think I can do that. If I press and hold this one, for instance, the CV will light up. So then I can do this over here, and then I can change this and go 05. I hope you can all see that. Alright, so now I've changed the voltage for the 18350 because I don't normally charge 18350s at 1 amp. So I've now changed that one individually to do its own separate voltage. So that's something else you can do if you don't want them. I mean, if you don't want them all charging the same. If you don't want them charging all the same at once, you can go back and change one of them individually and leave all the others as they were. Okay, so this has been rather a long explanation so far, but I felt that it was relatively necessary since there's a fair amount to discuss on this unit. And I want to change this one to 0.5 as well. Okay, whoops, now that's defaulted back to 1. Okay, let me try that again. Hold down this. Okay. I think that was operator error that time. I think that was operator error. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's set. All right. I'm going to pause the video and let these do their thing, and then we'll come back after they've all charged up. How does that sound? See you in a bit. Okay, it's a little while later and I'm back, and I should mention something, that when you leave the charger charging, after a very short few minutes, the display goes dark. And so in a dark room you don't have to see the glow hanging over your head or anything like that. And then when you want to see what's going on, just approach it, say hello, press a button, and there you go, your display is back. So that's just one thing to know about. Alright, so anyway, we are back, and all but one of the batteries has finished charging. And if you can make out the display there, this is the one. It's still blue. When they finish charging, the lights go red. Blue charging, red charged, which is kind of the opposite of most chargers. Hey, look at that, it just went red. Most chargers, of course, will be red while you're charging and then turn green for the obvious color when done. But this one's a tad on the opposite side of the normal. So there you go. Red means it's done. And what I just noticed here, which I'm sure you have already, each of the voltages are reading 4.20. Now they are finished because you see the battery bar is complete, but it's reading 4.20. Now it would be nice, obviously these aren't 4.20. I mean, they just don't end up that way. 415, 416, 417, 418, you know the drill. But and this one here on the end, this cheap one over here, could be as low as 414 or 410. But anyway, it ends by saying 420, which I think is slightly unfortunate. Now, you know that they are less, but anyway, that's the way it is. The only thing you can do is take one out and put it right back. Okay, well, in this case, it said it was done, but now it's sort of giving it another little bit of a push, and it's still saying 420. Okay, well, maybe that theory was out the door. I mean, I can always, here, put another one in another slot. Okay, well, for testing purposes, that is not working out as I'd planned. However, you know they are done, so if you can live with that, then you would obviously take them out and put them on a tester just to see what the real voltage actually is. So anyway, it's too bad that they say 420 when they're done, that they can't read the actual voltage. But that is the GYRFalcon and we'll let you know below when it does become available. I'm not sure if it is just yet, but that's how to operate it, and hope you've enjoyed the video. This is Ben from lightsandgear.com. Of course, you can visit Lights and Gear for batteries, chargers, flashlights, and all that kind of stuff, reviews and more. And hope this video was informative. Thank you. Have yourself a good day. See you next time.